Welcome to First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast. I'm your host, James Gardner, certified athletic therapist, certified strength and conditioning specialist, yoga instructor, human being. This platform, for the pros, by the pros, anybody in the performance space, and beyond. Welcome here to share in the stories of professionals, experiences, journeys, learning along the way. It's a platform to connect, to network, and to be a part of a community that cares, with conversations that matter, experiences that resonate, and generate ideas, thought-provoking, organic dialogue, passionate pros. Brought to you as always by First Star Therapy, Mobility Tape, Epic, and Benchmark Athletics. In association with the Canadian Athletic Therapists Association. It's First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being a part of it. All right, here we are. Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast, the official podcast of WFAT. World Congress is coming up in October for those that are paying attention in Dublin, Ireland. We are looking forward to being there to record some guests and hopefully capture the pulse of what's going on around the globe with our profession. But before we get to that at World Congress, we have a very special guest. Dr. Nicole Chimera is here with us today. She is the graduate program director for the Master of Athletic Therapy program and an associate professor in the Department of Kinesiology at Brock University. Prior to coming to Brock in 2018, she was the program director for an athletic training master's degree program in New York. She has experience as a faculty member in undergraduate athletic training and exercise science programs, as well as 20 years of clinical experience. Additionally, she is a clinical biomechanist with a focus on understanding how the interaction between tissue functionality and neuromuscular control impact movement and injury. Nicole, thank you very much for joining us again.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having us. It's great, or having me. It's great to have an opportunity to be able to speak about our program here at Brock. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. We've been trying to iron out our schedules. This is a big one for me as an athletic therapist. For me as a Brock University graduate, once a Badger, always a Badger. And then to pick your brain again on, you were on here previously talking about some of the research you were doing. And I think that was World Congress with WFAT actually in Winnipeg was the last time we had you on. So a few years back, but Brock University, you're there now as a graduate program director for the Master of Athletic Therapy program. Our profession is growing with a program like this. First master program in Canada. Is that where we're going with this?
So first English speaking masters. There is one other program, which is French speaking.
Awesome. And where did the momentum come for this? Is there momentum for this? Where's the program at? When's it launching? Like all the questions I want to ask right now for not just myself. There's a part of that, but also for our audience and for the profession in Canada and beyond.
Sure. Yeah. So this probably started back in 2020, and I had been at Brock for 2 years at that point. And there were a lot of students who were coming in to talk with me, our kin undergrad students, about their interest in pursuing athletic therapy, but having a concern on some level about having to do another bachelor's degree because at the time that was the only option for education for athletic therapists in Canada. And so there was lots of discussion with them on the pros and cons of doing a second bachelor's degree versus choosing to apply for programs in the States that were at the master's degree at that time. And, what were kind of my thoughts and how did this what was my perspective related to what might be options for them. And so as I was having more and more in these conversations, I started thinking, well, maybe we need to be pursuing this option for our students here in Canada so that they have the option if they wanted to. And, sometimes students don't find out about athletic therapy. A lot of students don't find out about athletic therapy until they're in a kinesiology or similar undergraduate degree. And maybe they get some opportunity to have some experiential learning with the athletic therapists that are on staff here at their institution. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, this is a really cool profession. This is maybe what I was always thinking I wanted to do, but didn't have the right words for what that profession was. And so this started out as kind of a venture to see, is this feasible? Is it something we can do? Does the accreditation in Canada allow for programs at the master's degree level? And kind of as we went through all this investigation, we found that, we could move forward with this. This was a good option. And, for again, for our Brock students, but now it's open for anybody. We thought this was a really great option for them in a way to seek education in order to become certified and to sit for the certification exam without having, to leave the country if they didn't want to do that.
Right. And so I guess in those that are in Canada understand it's not hasn't been a master's program on the English side before. So what differentiates this program beyond sort of having a better understanding of what athletic therapy is, maybe on the applicant side or the student side that are a part of this program as it starts? What differentiates a master's program in athletic therapy and in comparison, I guess, is where we'll.
Sure, compared to the bachelor's programs here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now, there's one competency document for which all programs have to make sure that they are meeting. And there's 165 competencies that have to be taught within an athletic therapy program. And so that competency document is the same, regardless of whether you're a bachelor's or a master's student currently. But for us, part of what I think sets our program apart is we do have a major research project within our program. And so students will complete a project under the supervision of a faculty member within the kinesiology department. And those projects can take numerous forms. But I think, one of the things we promote as professionals in any healthcare field is that we're evidence-based clinicians. And I kind of equate being an evidence-based clinician and the education around that to the same thing that we do from a skill standpoint and a clinical skill standpoint, where we teach the students about these ideas in theories in the classroom. We then have an opportunity to practice some of these skills in the laboratory setting, and then we apply them in various practicums or placements so that they build their skill set. So I kind of think about that in the same way with evidence-based practice, that to give students an opportunity to learn about the evidence in the classroom and then have an opportunity to be able to put that into practice. And so that's really where that major research project comes into play. And it's giving them, I think, a good foundational skill set to use moving forward as an evidence-based clinician. So I would say that's probably one of the big parts that sets our program from an undergrad program. The other piece I think that's important is we are a 2-year program, a 24 months continuous. And so at the graduate level, the students would have already had their undergraduate content that would be required to be foundational to come into the program. And so the students aren't trying to navigate both the requirements of the undergraduate curriculum in addition to those 165 competencies from the athletic therapy accreditation. And so this allows, at the master's level, allows students to stay, in my mind, 100% focused in the athletic therapy piece.
Nope, I love that. And I think exploring a little bit of understanding what the profession is before you jump into a program in conversations sort of across the board within the profession and within, some programs or people who are a part or have been a part or have graduated from programs is there is sometimes a little bit of misunderstanding as to what they're getting into. And then all of a sudden they're with a team for a bunch of hours and they didn't equate for that, or they're in a clinic for a bunch of hours, they didn't equate for that. So having an understanding where there's leverage there for 24 months continuous. So obviously there is some field work, there is some clinical work, and there are different ways to navigate within the program. Is that a fair capture?
Yes. So we have, our courses are set. Those are pre-planned. And so we have 14 courses that are lecture lab based. And then there are 5 practicums for the program. And those practicums are set to build upon one another as the students gain more knowledge and have the ability to apply more skills as they move through the program. Four of those practicums are set to be concurrent with their classroom education, so they'll have they're kind of front loaded though. A lot of the education piece happens in that first summer so that the students have a good base in order to move into their practicums for that first fall term. Um, so our program starts in May, and so students will have their classroom work and lab work kind of May, June, July, and then move into their practicums in their first set of practicums in August. They still have classes, but the classes kind of taper as they move through the program with more time in the practicum piece. The last practicum, though, which is the last term of our program, is an immersive placement. And so the students have no in-class meeting times, so they don't have to be here in St. Catharines or Southern Ontario. They have the opportunity, we hope at least, the opportunity to be able to go to different places, maybe in the province or across the country, or maybe there are some opportunities for some international placements at that point. But one of the things we've learned is from the research perspective is that the immersive placement is really important for transition to practice. And so giving the students, if you do a practicum and you maybe go like a couple hours on this day and a couple of hours on the next day, and you're also in your, doing your courses, you don't get a real sense of what the profession entails from start to finish on the full day. So that's really what that immersive placement we hope will be to help establish that piece for the students so that they're really comfortable and confident when they go into working as that lead therapist or head athletic therapist or athletic therapist, whatever title they might have at that point once they finish and they complete their exam and they are able to move forward.
Yeah, no, really well captured and obviously really well planned and thought out for a program to sort of launch here on the master side, English speaking, and again, like my alma mater. This makes me proud to be an athletic therapist and to consider that this is the first English speaking master's program in this profession, and sounds amazing. Also, from a practical standpoint, I'm well aware of some people that are in place there with your performance program and Steve Lidstone and the people that are there doing from that side. I know there's usually lineups out the door for people to get engaged with the varsity programs there and what Steve's doing. Is there some overlap there or some interest there with support sort of to blend the gym, the varsity teams, those sorts of things?
We'll be back after a quick break.
As the official podcast of WFAT, the World Federation of Athletic Training and Therapy, I look forward to World Congress in Dublin, Ireland, October 16th to 18th, 2025. Hoping you'll be there, but if not, WFAT has you covered. I have you covered. As the host of Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast, I will be in Dublin, Ireland, on the floor, in the exhibitor hall, listening to speakers and gauging feedback on the pulse of this global athletic training and therapy event. We'll have guest speakers. We'll have the hosts from Artie in Dublin ahead of time, building up some steam to World Congress 2025. We'll try to give you the pulse of what's going on there with live interviews, live podcast sessions uploaded to our channels all across your favorite places. It's Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Hope to see you in Dublin.
Yeah, for sure. Our strength conditioning staff here are certainly very interested in playing a role in the supervision piece, and we have opportunities for that. We haven't kind of worked out all those details yet, but they are definitely very interested. And I know with some of our therapists who work really closely with our strength and conditioning staff, that they're using that strength and conditioning facility throughout the rehab process with different athletes depending upon the injury. And so that integration between the two is so incredibly important from the perspective of working as a professional too. So we really will have a high priority on that interprofessionalism and how important that is related to working within the field.
Love it. And again, like in Canada, obviously in the US, majority, if not all of the programs in athletic training have moved to a master's. Does this level Canada up to potentially align there. The reason I ask is, having worked in certain sports or certain groups that are American driven, so like the MLS, for example, requires a master's degree to be a head therapist in the MLS. And in Canada, my opportunity to work out there, like I wasn't sure that there were that many athletic therapists in Canada that have a master's degree that weren't in sort of education or research. Like it hasn't really been done that way before. So to have practical field clinical experience and that be your MO and have a master's, this is obviously new with one French speaking and now to move to the English. Did that play a role in it? Is that a part of it? Does it sort of put us on par? I know the education is different. The pedagogy is different between the NATA, the CATA, Canada, US, wherever you want to take that one.
Yeah. So I think, from the standpoint of leveling up, I think it certainly gives the student an additional credential, if we want to call it that, right? From an education standpoint, where they do now have a bachelor's degree and now a master's degree. So I think in those positions, as you mentioned, that require a master's degree, it will put the students who graduate from our program ahead of those who don't have that master's degree. And I think that there's lots of potential for the profession here in Canada to make a decision. And in fact, there's a work group right now that's investigating whether there should be a degree change or not. And so we'll see how that plays out and whether that might look like a change is coming or not. We don't know yet, but I do think that we have other analogous healthcare programs here in Canada that do require a master's degree for their entry to practice degree. And so it gives us the opportunity to maybe be closer aligned with those programs as well, right? Those other professions.
Love that. So this is launching. This is happening. This is confirmed. When does the first cohort begin? I guess I know you mentioned, May and that, but officially, what is the process? Are there applicants? Like, I'm excited to hear about where this is currently living.
Sure. Yeah. So our applications are currently open. They close November 15th, and we have an intake planned of 20 domestic students and 3 international students. And then that those students that are accepted who apply by November 15th and are accepted, they would start with us in May of 2026. It is cohort based, so everyone comes in at the same time. And then it's 24 continuous months of full-time study from there. So it's happening.
I love that. That's great. It's super exciting. Obviously, there's got to be a little bit of buzz. You mentioned, before we jumped on here, it's the busiest time of year right now.
Yeah.
Classes on the undergraduate level and all together at the university starting probably as we speak, if not next week. So what are you doing? What is your stage of preparation on your side right now for that program? Obviously, some things still to align, and I don't want to say fingers crossed, but there are lots of applicants in the pipeline for you coming up.
Yeah. So we right now we have 2 certified athletic therapists on our faculty right now. So it's myself and Dr. Amanda Black. And then we have hired one more at this point who will start January 1st. We have a program coordinator position that will be hired for January 1st as well. So right now that's our plan as far as who we have hired or are planning to hire by that January 1 start date. And then so that's kind of been a big work in progress getting to that point, and working right now on getting our course calendar all ready to be accessible from a public standpoint. So that's just kind of the timing of the university right now. So we're working on all of those and getting the schedules set for May of 2026 for which courses are going to be offered when and what that looks like as you kind of lay it out. So it's a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that's happening right now, but all of that will become accessible from a public standpoint fairly soon. But we do have our website. Our website is up and running. So there's a page through the graduate studies area. And then also through our kinesiology department, you can link to the athletic therapy page. We do have two information sessions coming up, which are online sessions that students, prospective students can reserve a spot for. The first one's September 25th, and that's at 1 p.m. And then the second one is October 28th, and that's at 10:30. So if people are interested, if you go onto Brock's website and under the graduate programs and then get to the Master of Athletic Therapy page, you're then able to link to those RSVPs.
Awesome. We'll make sure that we put those up in the notes as well with the show here
Sure.
when we publish, and people should have access and check that out. Whether you're looking to apply, whether you're looking to just understand what's going on, or just become aware of what's going on. What a great place! I had a great time at Brock, and being a Badger and being a part of that. And what is the I guess my bigger question is, like, I'm an athletic therapist, you're an athletic therapist, Amanda's an athletic therapist. So like they get that. So like I'm sure there's some buzz, built into, I know what this profession is. I know what a program like this could really bring. It's a bit of a differentiator than what's out there currently. Like there's some really cool opportunities. What's the buzz, or what's the acceptance? Obviously, it needed acceptance on sort of up the chain or across the campus. Is there buzz from and support within sort of athletics and academics and all of that? Obviously, it wouldn't launch without that, but like, is that palpable where you're at right now, or I don't know, where's that?
Yeah.
Side?
Yeah. So Brock has a really big interest in experiential education and really trying to make sure that we have education programs that meet the needs for students to have a skill set that's applied, can be applied as they move out into the work world or their professional worlds. And so this fits really well in line with that agenda within Brock as far as the experiential education piece goes. So there's lots of excitement around this from, all the way up through the various channels within the institution. Certainly within athletics and our strength conditioning and athletic therapy areas within athletics, lots of excitement about this program and the opportunity to be able to educate students. So we have some really great clinicians here who really enjoy having the opportunity to educate students. And so we have lots of support from the standpoint of the practicums or placements. We also have a new sports medicine clinic here on campus, which is a community-facing clinic. And so hopefully we'll have some opportunities within that clinic for our students as well.
Awesome. Really look forward to popping back down there to see the developments. Southern Ontario, St. Catharines, Ontario, for those that aren't listening, down by Niagara Falls. Pretty sweet pocket of the country. Wine country maybe for some, or something like this. Niagara Falls obviously being a lot of water pouring over a relatively small ledge, but also a pretty neat little pocket of athletics and sports. And sort of you got the border right there, plus you have Hamilton, plus you have the Burlington area. I don't want to open the can of worms as to where placements are at, but I think it's far enough away from sort of the central programs that are, over on the East Coast, here north of Toronto, or just around the Toronto area, and then obviously on the West Coast. So a new area as well geographically. Are there some pretty exciting prospects down there off campus as well?
Sure, yeah, and we will certainly use off-campus placements as much as we can. That was part of, when we were planning this program is being able to demonstrate that, that there is room for this program within the province. And so exactly what you just said, James, that we're kind of sit below the area where we might see more athletic therapy here in Ontario, and an area that really is really underexplored from the standpoint of an athletic therapy program. And so we're well positioned from that perspective. And we have lots of opportunities, we hope, here in Southern Ontario from the standpoint of, not too far away. We have a CFL team, right here in St. Catharines. We have junior hockey. We have OHL hockey here. We also have the Canadian Basketball League here. So we're hoping to have some opportunities. We have some private schools around that have certified athletic therapists who work there as well. So we're hoping to explore all those opportunities for us.
Yeah, no, very exciting, and just sort of showcase the profession as well. I think on a higher level of, I just sort of navigate a little bit on the master's level when you talked about credential, but maybe there is this sort of like, I don't know, a greater understanding of what athletic therapy is if it's coming out of a master's program in our country, at least, and what we can offer. So really look forward to hearing and watching this thing grow as you launch or prepare to launch. What are you looking forward to most with the program? And I guess like from there, I don't know. Let's see where it goes. But what are you looking forward to personally as the program director? Besides like, oh, finally we cut the tape and it's open.
Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to having students come in. This is something that I've been a part of as far as building the program, but I've also had the opportunity to educate students in various levels of programs elsewhere, and the opportunity to have those students start to come in and be able to really be able to give them the opportunity to learn that kind of vast skill set that's needed for athletic therapy is something I'm really looking forward to.
No, amazing. For those that aren't out there, Nicole, maybe you might not toot the horn of Brock as much as I might, but let me do this for you, or for us, or for whatever, for the profession. Brock has offered a ton of things. So the sports performance program, I've had interaction with both, Vicky Bendis when she was there, yourself, Amanda Black, Steve Lidstone, I was Jim Bellata, Karen Millar, Joe Kenny, who's in the CATA Hall of Fame. So there's a lot of really rich history, at least personally for me, at Brock University with athletic therapy. Is sort of where I cut my teeth. So for anybody who cares what I have to say or think, that's a really big piece of sort of like, it's come back around full circle. At the same time, we had the opportunity to overlap as well with sort of the youth health and youth sports movement, with some really cool things. So within a small community or a smaller university, there's a ton going on. I think that athletic therapy can be built into or showcased within that I'm sure you're very excited about. I'm very excited about, like, just sort of listening and watching and the limited exposure I've had to campus since leaving. Like some really cool opportunities there, cross collaboration. You talked about sort of experiential learning, but child and youth studies, sport management program is massive there. All kinds of things. So like, I don't know. It's almost like this little hidden gem that I feel like this program could really highlight, all the things.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that. And I've been talking a little bit with the program director from our public health, the Masters of Public Health here, and the potential for maybe some interprofessional pieces there. And we have the Master Professional Kinesiology here, and so two of the classes for the Master of Athletic Therapy students will be taught in conjunction with two courses from the MPK to give the students that interprofessional piece there as well. So we're hoping to really build some of that out a little bit more, which is really exciting for me as well. I think that's such an important part is the interprofessional practice piece. And we're seeing more and more clinics move in that direction, right? Where we have multidisciplinary healthcare professionals working together for the benefit of the patient. And so to give the students that opportunity to learn in that environment, I think is really important. We also have our nursing program here. And so hopefully we can have a better collaboration across that program as well.
Yeah. And for those that aren't familiar as yet, or maybe forgot, there were some recent upgrades, obviously, to facilities and sporting facilities as well a few years back with the Canada Games. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. So there are some really cool facilities there that, like, I think that's a part of it too. Like being a part of athletic therapy is like the facilities, that's a bit of a draw, and so the sport performance center, the rec center, the new sport medicine, community facing sport medicine that you mentioned, like there's a lot of great pieces there. So I'll encourage listeners out there to just get familiar with what Brock is. I had a great time there in my undergrad. That was a long time ago, but this continual evolution to sort of experiential learning, and now a master's program in athletic therapy, the first English speaking of its kind. So Dr. Nicole Chimera, obviously here with us, program director, going to launch this program very soon. All the best for launch. I'll leave you with that to sort of close it out on wherever you want to finish. But congratulations. I know this has been a huge work in progress, continues to be. From my end, thank you. From our end as a profession, thank you. I think a move in a different direction, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but a move in a different direction is a bold move. And I think this one sounds like it's got a lot of legs behind it and has a lot of sort of support and, moving forward can be something for not only Brock, but for our profession. And I think that's two pieces that matter a lot, at least to me. So thank you for your time on this, for today, for your time on this, and good luck with the launch. Good luck with the start of the school year overall, but over to you to close it out. Brock University, the first of its kind. Go for it.
Yeah, thanks so much, James. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and be able to talk about our program. I think one other thing I'll just mention, because you brought up our kind of Center for Healthy Youth Development through sport and some of the opportunities there. I'll just come back to the research project piece too, that I think is really kind of a cool option where we have these 20 faculty members here in kinesiology who have agreed to supervise these projects, and they can span all over the place, from nutrition to child and youth to physical literacy to pediatric bone injuries. So they and we have our BFIT Center, which is the Functional and Inclusive Training Center here, that is a focus with older adults as well as inclusive training for those who might have more additional needs. And so there's so much opportunity here to learn and experience from a classroom standpoint to a experiential learning standpoint to the research piece, and trying to bring that all together, I think, and I hope will be a really great experience for the students enrolled in our program. So thank you again for having me. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for your time. And it absolutely will be hopefully a clean launch, but a successful one for sure. Again, it's Brock University. We'll post those 2 dates for the online sessions you have coming up in September and October. We'll post a link to the graduate studies program, the Master's in Athletic Therapy here in Canada, the first of its kind on the English side. Dr. Nicole Chimera, thank you again for being here and for all you're doing for the profession and for Brock. All the best. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thanks again for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of this community. Check us out online, firststartherapy.com. That's FIRSTAR therapy.com. Or email us with feedback, consult@firststartherapy.com. CONSULT@firststartherapy.com. On Instagram @firststar.therapy, and our podcast host @letschat.at. This is First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast.